Oh, come on. Hello, Dungeon fans. I'm the Lich, and this is the Liching Hour. And before you do whatever it is you do when you get here, in Dungeon News. It's been 0 days since our last hero infestation. This time, though, was a little different than any time in the past. I want you all to know there's nothing to be afraid of, but you're going to see a new face wandering around the dungeon. That weird night we had, the one where a group of goblins fell asleep mysteriously on level 2, then a couple of rabbits just appeared out of nowhere on level 3 and sent the werewolves into a chase frenzy. Then an ogre on level 5 found wandering around declaring his love for his fellow monsters. That wasn't a group of adventurers to blame for that. Just one wizard, Fizzrag, my new apprentice. He came all this way just to ask me to take him on as an apprentice. And I gotta say, I was impressed. And I'm not the apprentice type, you know this. And he also said he'll clean out the rust crawler poop on level 6, so sold. Yeah. So if you see this mousy little human walking around the dungeon, don't eat him. Unless you want to clean out the rust crawler poop on level 6. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's it for the news today, folks. Enjoy your stay. Feel the dungeon.
Thank you, Lich. Hello, everybody. It is Friday night on the Liching Hour. I'm Kevin from level 9 of the dungeon. You'll notice that it's a little more fancy around here. I like it. I like it for those who know. Friday night is Dungeon Crawl Classics night. We're going to continue our campaign. Before we get started, if you are new to the channel, watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe or follow. That would be, if you're on Twitch, follow. That would be greatly appreciated. The chat plays little icon right here means that I'm open and hoping that you will chime in to help out in crafting the narrative that we're going through, playing the campaign. As much as I enjoy coming up with everything, having your input would help guide it in ways I'm not expecting, which is kind of what the dice do for me too. Let's see, that's that. Tonight we're continuing playing the Queen of Elfland's Son, a rather new adventure by Dungeon Crawl Classics for level 1 characters. And then, let's see, let's recap where we were. Where were we? Oh yeah, everything was foobard. So our heroes had visited the town and village of Ing in order to investigate some disturbances in the area for the Baron. And the disturbances turned out to be a demonic unicorn who was killing a lot of livestock in town every night. They they killed the unicorn and traced it back to, well, followed the clues to find out that it was coming from a mound, a fairy mound, that at night a door would open up, and it was obviously some kind of base for actual elves from Elfland. Not to be confused with Tasha, our party's elf, who's more of a peasant elf. These elves, it's like the ancient homeland. The elves of our world, like Tasha, they don't remember. They may have heard stories. Tasha heard a few stories when she was a tiny child, hundreds of years ago, about the ancient homeland of the elves. These elves are back for a little bit of revenge. It's a real torrid story that you'll have to watch the last couple episodes to know about. But where we are now is with an ill-fated plan. Maybe it wasn't as well thought out as the party thought. They tried to assault the Faerie Mound. It was actually, the bad decision was trying to cast sleep. It just didn't work on the guards. And the guards called reinforcements. The reinforcements came out and things went left and right and all around, and half the party, a little over half the party, was captured and dragged back into the mound. Where we left it were four of the party members were captured, two of them escaped, and what we're going to do, we're going to start at, I have no idea where this is going to, I kind of got an idea where we were going to start. The party is developing a kind of Hail Mary plan inside the dungeon. Kind of got an idea what um, Jasper and Armstrong are doing. Those are the two that escaped. Jasper, our warrior, and Armstrong, our wizard. Here, one second, I'm gonna do this. That, yes. But other than that, it's going to be dice rolls. We'll find out what happens. They might all just die in the middle of this Faerie Mound. We do not know, especially when it comes to Dungeon Crawl Classics. So, let's paint the scene. It was the last minute of the battle. Naomi, our cleric and leader of the party, had fallen when a furbolg jammed her, like crushed her throat with his mallet, or his blunt weapon, and she went down. She crumpled, and Armstrong, the wizard, ran in and attempted to cast sleep again, and in a move of desperation, having a feeling it wasn't going to work again. But for some reason, whenever he casts the sleep spell, it also puts out a wave of energy that heals those around him. The downside is it healed some of the enemies that were right there within 15 feet, but it also healed Naomi enough for her to start getting up, even though her throat was crushed. It regened a little bit, but she's never going to be able to talk right again, above maybe a whisper. So she actually she went down to 0 hit points, and that means she loses an attribute point. So she's going to take, well, a attribute point. So she's going to lose a point of stamina. That's going to attribute to her. That's going to be the reason why she can't talk very well from here on out. The others were subdued down. The others that were standing there, Armstrong went in, cast a spell, didn't work, turned around, well, worked enough to bring Naomi up, and then he ran. He wasn't going to stick around. He managed to survive running away from them and running back to Jasper, who was pecking people off with his crossbow from a distance. The others that were there fighting, Atticus, Tarloff, and Tasha, were all captured and then dragged in. And as they're dragged in the doorway, we'll give you some kind of ideas of what they saw. It all happened very fast. They were dragged through a glowing silver green light of the entrance that was produced by these burning brands hanging in the corridor walls of the doorway they're pulled into. They remember the passage being into it, lined with worn and moss-covered stones and sprays of wildflowers growth between the spaces in the rocks. They were dragged into a kind of a foyer. Atticus remembers seeing a big woven tapestry of some bearded elf, and on one wall when they were dragged to the one side, and down another hallway. Finally, there on a series of hallways, he kind of was able to keep track a little bit of where he was at. Let's do this. Boom. They were dragged in, and he remembers being dragged to the left, down, and he remembers seeing a doorway, and then they were dragged. It turned a corner, and they were dragged down to another passageway, or another fork. They were dragged to the left, and then they were dragged through a room. It looked like some kind of little bit of a meeting room. There was a couple people there a couple guards stationed at a big door, and then they were dragged down and dragged through a door into a small dungeon type area with 3 cells. The Atticus and Naomi were put quickly into one cell, and everybody's weapons were taken. Naomi is in full chainmail, and iron hurts elves. Uh, they don't like it. So the guards were very quick to dump her off, and they didn't take the armor. They didn't take the time to take the armor off. By the looks of her, they didn't think she was going to last that long anyway. And once they had her captured, they're too arrogant to think that she would be any kind of trouble. Now, Tasha, on the other hand, um, she had been casting spells. They they took Naomi and Atticus and they put them in one cell, and then they took Tasha and Tarloff and put them in a different cell, and they gagged Tasha. In the middle cell, those are the two outside cells. In the middle cell, the party didn't notice this right away, obviously, because everything was happening so fast. But later on, they find that there's a halfling in the middle cell too. Introduces himself and whispers as Standish. Now, when they're put into the cells, the two guards that were in the dungeon when they get brought in were the same types of big guys. The guy who crushed Naomi's throat, who did die in the first battle. I forget who brought him down, but these two big, and they're called furbolgs. Big, wearing kind of red peasant outfits. Big elves with kind of pot bellies and brutish kind of features. About 6 feet tall, taller than all the rest of them, carrying big mallets. And those guys, though, the two guards that come in that drag these other people, the group of guards that drag them in, they're just more like elven guards, a little shorter, look more like traditional elves. Those guards talk to the furbolgs and send them out. The idea being they know that somebody escaped and they want the furbolgs out there in front guarding the mound. And then these two, they're leaving two of the regular elf guards to guard these prisoners. So where we stand is Naomi and Atticus in one cell, Tasha and Tarloff in another, and then a lone halfling in the middle one, and these two elven guards. Not too happy to be on this detail, and I think it's a little bit below them. So they're arrogant, haughty, and don't think they should deserve to be watching these people. So they're not on their most. They're not they're not on their game. So here's what's going on in these guys' head. Because they wouldn't take the armor off Naomi, something's happening. Naomi's leaning up against, sitting down and leaning up against the walls of theirs. Let me read that. Let me describe the prison. This is important, very important. A small, dark grotto lies behind a stout door. The space is lit only by a single torch burning with its unearthly silver-green light. 3 cells, their bars fashioned by living wood with red bark, are set into the walls of the cave-like chamber. A pair of brutish fairies, that would be the furbolgs, they already left. They had thorn-studded clubs in their hands. Nice. Naomi's on the floor with her back up against this redwood. Atticus notices while he's kind of tending to her because she's still hurt pretty bad. He's tending to her. He's noticing that that over the next few hours the wood is actually kind of receding, and it looks like her armor and right behind her back is weakening the cell. So he's paying attention to that. Meanwhile, Tarloff, they took all their weapons, but they didn't search them that well. Like I said, these elves are pretty arrogant. Tarloff has his thieves' tools in his belt, or not in his belt, in his one of his boots. He's able to get them out. He wasn't tied up. Tasha's hands, Tasha had to be, her hands were tied behind her back and her mouth gagged. Anytime Tarloff even goes near her, if the guards notice, they tell him no. So he's thinking in his mind how fast he's going to be able to get over there and get her thing off. as well as maybe pick the lock. Atticus and let's see, there's a whole lot of sharing looks going on. The team is trying to figure out the best plan without having to speak too much. Atticus decides he can speak elf. He's gonna strike up a conversation with the guards. Basically, he's gonna be saying that I'm a mercenary. They hired me. And why would I have any problem with elves? I think you're great people. Some of my best friends are elves, and he's gonna be asking them questions. And we're gonna roll for him his personality, see how well he does in that endeavor. Let us go here. All right, he has no modifier on his personality, but he does have some luck left. Okay. What we're going to do mechanically, we're going to give him +2 on any rolls that have to do with in the future with these guys from a personality standpoint. Fictionally, he manages to break the ice a little bit. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's a joke about, actually, it's a joke about the Tarloff. A joke about Tarloff. They like joking about humans. And the elves don't have a particular problem with halflings. That's why the one halfling is still alive. Standish. Looks like a shifty little guy, too. But they didn't have a problem. They picked him up. He was scouting around the forest for some reason or other. We don't know his story yet. But, okay, so Atticus starts up the conversations. Hours go by. It's like midday for the elves. It's night for the team, but it's midday for the elves. And everybody's taking time to recover a little bit. Just a little bit. Nobody's up to full health. Meanwhile, there's a lot of staring. There's a lot of maybe they're able to talk a little bit to Standish when the elves aren't paying attention the best, and maybe pass like small words back and forth. But it's kind of come around that Atticus has taken it on himself to cause a distraction at some point, and he's waiting for the right time to do it. And then as soon as he can cause a distraction, he wants Tarloff to either attempt to free Tasha so she can cast the spell, or to pick the lock, or both, depending on how well the distraction goes. Meanwhile, though, I mean, what his plan is once he starts a distraction, Tarloff kind of triggers off. There's stuff going on both fronts. When the elves pay attention to the other side, he thinks he might, as he's watching over time, he thinks that he might be able to burst through, he might be able to break the cage. That's his not plan B, but the next phase of his plan. That's as far as he's got. Standish wants to help. He's kind of catching wind of what's going on. He wants to help too, but we're not quite sure how he's going to do that yet. Somebody can pass him a key if possible, but if they find something like that, or Tarloff can try to pick his lock. But anyway, we're going to focus on the big thing first. Perfect. All right. Okay, so Atticus rolled fine. He's got a kind of a +2 going forward. He whispers to Naomi the plan. About 8 hours later, after sleeping off and on, the two other elf guards are super bored. They're used to they're a little bit more of the favored troops of the mound, being more the traditional high elf kind of feel, because that's who well, I won't get into that, but There's the furbolgs, and then there's these Norgans. They're little short guys with fiery red eyes. They're a little bit outside your typical elf guys. So these guys are bored. They want to get going. It becomes like evening time for them, and no one's come to relieve them. So they're getting kind of antsy, and they decide they're just gonna sleep, or at least one's gonna go to sleep, another one's gonna stay up. Um, Shortly after one starts going to sleep, Atticus decides that this is the time to strike. Basically, when the other one's gonna wake up, but it this all might it might be a little confusing, and it'll add hopefully amplify the effect of what he's trying to do. If anybody watching has a different plan, please speak up. Our last plan to cast sleep on the guards and then take their armor and impersonate guards is going into that did not play out well. How was I supposed to know that sleep wouldn't work on these guys, right? Anyway, so yeah, okay. Naomi starts coughing, coughing, and Atticus, he steps back and he's looking at her, and he comes back, and then she starts whispering words. She's begins acting as if she's going to she's praying to her god. In fact, maybe she's casting something. Maybe she is. Yeah. The elves didn't realize she was glowing when they met her, but that they just attributed that to the elf, because why would humans be able to cast anything? She didn't look like a wizard, especially. They're aware of wizards, but she was like a fully armored person. It's not like they know a lot of clerics. And she didn't cast anything while they saw her, so they didn't expect her to be caster. So she starts casting, and it's obvious to the one guard who's still awake that she's casting. Atticus starts acting very alarmed, as if this casting is something that's going to hurt him, and he starts saying in Elvish to the guy in whispers, because he doesn't want to wake the other one yet. He wants to allow that to happen naturally and have the other one wake him up, or maybe he'll get lucky and the one won't even wake his friend to do what he wants them to do, which is to come in there and save his ass from this crazy human and chainmail who is definitely casting a fireball or something that's going to kill him. She's summoning a dark one or something. We're gonna roll now, Atticus, because he passed the first roll. He's gonna get that +2 on this roll to see if we're gonna see how well he rolls. The better he rolls, the better this is gonna go off, which of course makes sense. So he didn't roll too great, right? 8 too great, 8 not too great. He does get +2, so that's a 10, which is a pass on like the second to lowest kind of rung of the things you're trying to accomplish. I think Standish stands up and starts going, oh, crikey, oh my, crikey. Standish, catching on to what's going on and catching Atticus' vibe, he stands up and starts going off too. Like she's casting a halfling kill spell. This is a halfling kill spell. I've heard this before. He's trying not to be too loud, but he's gonna add his luck to this. He's gonna spend. Well, he only needs to spend. He's gonna spend 3. So that's actually a halfling gets to spend two times whatever he spends. Well, the effect is 2 times what he spends. So he spends 3 luck. It actually equals 6. You can add 6 to anybody's roll because he's a halfling. So we're going to be we're looking at a 16, which is really good. Super good. The other elf, I'd say as 16, the other elf goes and starts, okay, he's going to open up. Well, what do you think? He's actually going to take care of this chick on his own. Well, she is on the ground, right? So he's going to move to open up the cell door to take care of her himself. Um, he's that arrogant, and also like he doesn't want to. He wants to save face. He doesn't need the other guy, and then he'll be a little bit of hero when the other guy wakes up and he's stabbed this other one to death because she was going to kill everybody in the cell. Meanwhile, we're going to roll to see if Naomi gets the spell off because she's going to get it off before he opens the door. She's casting Blessing. And she's casting Blessing on Atticus. And we're going to take Statish down to 6 luck. Standish. Standish. It's a good proper halfling name. Yes, it is. All right, Blessing. I got a new camera set up. If anybody's watching, and I thought it might cut down on the shaky table syndrome I've got, but no, I didn't really. Ah. I also got my chat window in, thanks to Stream Elements. They did not pay me for that. I've got the chat window in my obs, but I'm gonna make sure I'm seeing everything I'm supposed to see. Okay, Blessing. Blessing. Where are you? There you are. Love it. Playing it on somebody else. So let us roll. Let us roll. Oh gosh. 6. Oh boy. I'll tell you what. Naomi is not having a whole lot of luck when it comes to this. She might have to change deities, I think. Well, she gets +2, right? So that's 8. But okay, so what does she need to do to not fail? She needs a 12. So she needs 4 more to not fail. Look, she failed. We're not spending luck for this. So why even look for the spell again? We gotta roll first from now on. Let's go over here. So she fails, which means her disapproval range increases a bit. Just a bit. Okay. So she casts it, but she keeps talking. It fails. She like pauses. It fails. So she starts talking and she starts to get as loud as she can. The elf really doesn't know what she is attempting to do. So he opens up the door anyway, and he rushes on and he pulls out a sword, and the intent is he's going to stab her in the neck, or he's just going to finish her, or maybe chop her head off. She's prone on the ground, or at least sitting up, and meanwhile, Tarloff bursts into action. What should he do? Should he try to get Tasha undone, or should he pick the lock? I mean, this is all happening super fast. We're gonna try this. I super hope that my rolling isn't so bad like it usually is for this to happen, because while the guard's rushing into the cell, Tarloff is on and ripping her gag off and untying her hands as fast as possible. That's not going to take a roll. I think bad's going to happen if he can do this. He does that. She immediately. So we've rolled terrible with Tasha. She's already forgotten Magic Missile and Flaming Hands, and during that whole battle before. But she can spell burn in order to cast Magic Missile, which is what she's going to attempt to cast to take out the guard before he slays Naomi. So she's got to spell burn. Let's Well, maybe we can roll on this just to get an idea what she could do to Spellburn. I keep going back to the same thing, which is so boring. Spellburn. There's a cool chart. You roll 1d24. I think I have that right here. Yes. Okay. 4. The wizard cuts off one of his fingertips. Yes. That sounds awesome. So, it's going to take her a round to do that, though. Okay. Tarloff does it the moment the elf, he sees the elf running to the door to unlock it. He rushes to her. He gets it down. I'd say the elf getting in time, something's going to have to happen before, actually, Tasha has a cure for magic missile for her, casting the magic missile spell, and only for her, for some reason, it takes her longer to cast a spell than what she thinks it would take other people, or what's described in the grimoire she found. It takes her, for some reason, 20 seconds to cast it instead of 10 seconds. So basically, she's 2 actions in order to cast the spell. So that's 3 beats. 1 beat is her cutting off her finger, and then a beat casting, and then a second beat, then she goes. So 3 beats from now. 3 rounds, sorry, beats, rounds. She's gonna be able to cast this sucker. So something else is gonna have to happen. Tarloff has dropped her and immediately started unlocking the door. Okay, so he's gonna be doing that the moment the elf rushes in with the sword to stab to stab Naomi. The only one who can stop any of this on the Naomi side is Atticus. He's got to do something. The elf isn't necessarily paying attention to him because he thinks that Atticus is in danger. He's not there to save him. He's just there to take out the spellcaster as quick as possible. So Atticus is going to. I should be rolling initiative probably, but this is kind of working. I like this flow. Atticus is going to jump and try to. He's just going to jump on him to get him to stop. He's just going to delay him. Let us roll. We need a good Atticus die. Atticus. I like Atticus. He's got a good heart. All right, let's do. Let's do that one. 17. That's cool. Okay. Yeah. We can roll with that. That is wonderful. I need to pull up. Sorry for the shaky table. I need to stop touching. I need to stop bumping the table. Okay. All right. These guys' AC, it was 14, 17. He's got, I'd say he's trying to jump on this guy. Well, he's oh, wait, let's check. This is the first time I've done it actually, which is great. There are some grappling rules that we can check out because that would make sense. Other combat. Falling, firing, grappling. Each party makes an opposed attack roll, adding the higher their agility or strength. Okay. An attacker twice the opponent's size adds +4 to the opposed roll. Okay, so he's going to be attempting. I'm going to roll for the elf. Okay, 7. He's double the size of the halfling. That's +4 is 11. The Atticus is he won. He grapples. Okay, Atticus runs and jumps and pushes the elf up against the the bars of the door. Actually, the elf opens up the door. It opens this way. He comes in. Ideas. He's pulling out a sword. Atticus jumps and pushes the guy, and he trips, and they both fall outside of the prison cell onto the floor. And Atticus is on top of him for this round. Tarloff rolls to see if he can unlock the his door. He rolls a 3. Damn it! It's tougher than he anticipated. It's magical, at least. Meanwhile, okay, so that happens. Tasha cuts off her. Oh, she can't cut off her. She could do something super gross right now. She could bite off her finger, her tip of her finger. Ugh. I don't know. That seems so horrifying. Yeah, she has nothing to cut herself with. What is she gonna do? Okay, we got to think of something else, which means she might have already been casting the spell. Any thoughts? What can she do? She's got to subtract 1 from an attribute score permanently. Well, not permanently. After a few days, she'll get it back. She wouldn't grow back her finger, that's for sure. Let's just look at this chart. Let's see what sounds fun. Wizard must spill his own blood. Yeah. Yeah. A wizard must yank out his hair and burn it. No. Wizard magically invigorates her body in order to fuel the spell. How does that work? The wizard agrees to aid followers of a patron saint. No. Hot brand must tattoo a mystical symbol. Must pull out a fingernail and burn it with incense. We're going to roll again because there's some crazy ones on here, and I want the dice to decide this one. 22. Hey, Heroic. How's it going, man? 22. The wizard must sacrifice one of his favorite possessions. What does Tasha have? Oh. Okay. They took their weapons. They didn't search Tasha because she was obviously a spellcaster. She didn't have any weapons. Well, no, she did. She had a short bow on her and a dagger. They took both. Actually, we could very well say that well, I like this better. I was going to say maybe they didn't take the dagger, but they took them both. Let's say they took them both, but they didn't take her tarot deck. Tasha, her former life, former occupation was fortune teller. She brings out so the moment she'd already been planning this, she knew what she had to do. She knew that she had to remember her spell that shoots missiles. So the moment Tarloff rips off her gag, she brings out her tarot deck, and it bursts into flames in her hands, and ashes down in her palm. Her palm gets out. She's going to be burnt a bit on her palm, but she does that in order to remember the spell. She had a feeling that might happen. She's had that tarot deck. Her mother gave her that tarot deck 75 years ago, and she's always carried it with her, and she used that as a way to kind of connect with the magic around her and be able to cast magic missile. And now I'm going to roll a 1, and the whole damn thing's going to be no. We're going to think positive. Anyway, so because this doesn't guarantee that this whole spell is going to work. Oh wait, I'm not rolling yet because. All right, so play it from the beginning. Atticus, no, Naomi, sitting down They're back against the cell walls, begins coughing and then incantating some kind of spell. Atticus acts very agitated. As she goes on, he gets more and more agitated. He starts telling the guard that the guard that's awake, that she's casting some kind of spell to kill them all. And then and that guard doesn't look like he's very impressed, or but he is kind of worried. But her casting, but he doesn't recognize the kind of spell and why she's a human, why is she casting. But then Standish, the halfling that's in the cell beside them, he gets up and he starts getting agitated and say, "It's a halfling death spell. I know it is." And that guard decides to take action. He's just gonna walk in there and stab her and be done with it. He's not even that worried. He's gonna walk in, stab her in the throat, and he's gonna walk out. That's his plan. He goes start to open the door. As he starts going to open the door, Tarloff in a cell a few doors down immediately jumps to Tasha and rips off her gag and unties her hands. Um, Meanwhile, the guard opens the door and he walks in, and Atticus jumps him, pushing him out and falling down. And Tasha has begun to cast her spell. She takes 2 rounds to do that, however. Tarloff attempts to um, pick the lock. He already tried that. He tried to pick the lock. We're top of the next round. Atticus and the elf are going to. Atticus is going to try to hold the elf down. We got to roll. Oops. Got to roll this again. So this is Atticus's roll. 14. All right. He has no strength modifiers, but that's cool. 14's good. Roll low. 5 plus 4 is 9. So Atticus manages to. The guard's a little confused, and Atticus has been around before. He's had to pin down human-sized or larger-sized people before, so he's no stranger to this. And it's obvious. It's playing out good. The other elf, has he woken up? We should probably roll that. Well, let's do a luck check. Let's do a luck check on... Things have been going pretty good. We'll do it on Atticus because he's the one that pushed this one out. And out in the, he's the one that jumped him. Whatever. 8. Oh, no, it's good. It's very good. A luck roll works a little differently than other rolls. It has to roll under. And his luck is 10 at the moment. And so yes, fearless pessimism. Yeah, right. The other guard has not woke up yet. Awesome. That means Naomi, well, not Naomi. Oh, what's Naomi doing, by the way? Naomi's taking her time getting up. She's hurt. She's feeling better. She's getting up. Tarloff is attempting to pick his lock. And he rolls an 18. He hears a click, and the door opens up. He immediately rushing. They have a chest off to the side that has they saw them put their weapons into. And now Tasha finishes off her spell, hopefully. She's casting Magic Missile, and I need to not roll a 1 on her. Okay. Haha. All right. 13. Her spell check for Magic Missile is +3, so she's actually rolling a 16. That's cool. Let's see what happens. Let's roll a 1d10. Where is it? I need my kingdom for a 1d. I don't want to roll you. I'll roll you. What is that? It's a 10. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. So 16 means that the caster throws a single missile that does damage equal to 1d4 plus the caster level. Right? Sure would like to do more damage with that. Sure would like it. That'd be awful nice. Sure would, but we're like really low on luck stuff. I'm like, so, let's see, the next level up would be she throws 1d4 missiles that deal damage equal to 1d4 plus caster level. All right, these guys are really low health and stuff. She's so don't want to do this. Tasha, I'm like, it's funny. She's got 18 luck, and the more luck she has, the less I want to spend it. I'm like, wow, that'd be really helpful at some point. All right, let's make this count though. So she needs 15. She needs to spend 3. 3 luck. That's a lot of luck. You know what? What are you doing, Standish? I think, well, okay, Standish only has to spend 2. All right, our new friend Standish is going to spend 2 more luck. How convenient. We have a halfling in the cell next door. How convenient. He's going to spend a couple luck. He's shouting encouragement. He sees what she's doing. Let's see, what else could he do? Yeah, he's shouting encouragement to her. Wow, you're amazing. Look at you. Oh my gosh. And he adds some luck to her roll. And she's at 18. She throws 1d4 missiles. 3. She's going to throw 3 of them that do 1d4 plus caster level. All at the one that that Atticus is holding down. We're just going to say she shouts Atticus, and then he rolls off. 3, 7, 9 plus 1 is 10. This axe made of pure energy and force comes whipping out. Actually, 3 of them do. And slam into this elf's body, burying themselves in and killing him. Dead. Killing him dead. Excellent. The other one wakes up, finds himself surrounded by these guys. Well, he sees what's going on. What he sees is his friend laying there on the ground, and Atticus off to the side. Not his friend, his co-worker, his partner, and his partner's looks to be dead. I mean, I don't think the magic missile causes gore or anything. It just hits him really hard and then magically kills him. Or maybe there's gore, maybe a little bit of blood. Obviously, he's dead. So his friend snaps into action with Atticus. Let's roll to see if he notices that. He's going to notice pretty quick because Tarloff is rummaging through. Actually, Tarloff is rummaging through and getting everybody's weapons. So what should happen is the guard's going to try to get the hell out of there and to alert more people. And we can't let that happen. Seize him! Okay, so we're going to roll initiative, finally. The Elven Guard has got a 3. All right. Atticus has got a big old 8. Naomi's 13. Tarloff is 15. Tasha is 3. Already got Atticus. Standish, our new buddy Standish is 6. Okay. Okay, so Tarloff, he's going to spend his round throwing. He tosses a dagger to Tasha. He tosses a dagger to Standish, but he's going to have to let Standish out. No, wait. You know who needs a weapon is Atticus. He whistles and he tosses hand axes to Atticus. We're gonna roll to see if Atticus catches these suckers, and he doesn't. He goes to grab one and it clatters on the floor. That was Tarloff. Naomi is now up. She sees the one has gotten. He's woken up. He's sitting in a chair, kind of maybe leaning up, off in a kind of corner. Gets up. She is going to charge him. She's going to charge him and use her armor as a weapon because that sounds cool. There is a charge. A reckless character can use one action to declare a charge. In order to charge, he must move at least half his speed. Charging character gains +2 bonus to attack rolls, but suffers a -2 to AC until next turn. Okay. That's not like what I'm thinking it is, because I want her to hit him. Okay, so she's gonna roll as I hit, and she's gonna use her body as the weapon. 14. And she's her strength's +1, so is her agility. So 15 is gonna hit this guy. These guys got armor class of 14. So she slams into him with her iron body. She's gonna do 1 to 4 this guy. And actually, I'm gonna give him a reflex save to see. He's gonna do a reflex save to see if he falls over or not, if he stays standing. What did she roll? A 15. So he needs to roll. So he rolls a 15. See that? Yeah. So I like this new setup so much better. All right. He doesn't go down, but he does take 2 points of damage. Yeah. And she's right up in his face. Meanwhile, that was Naomi. Now Atticus is going to scramble to grab his hand axes, or at least one of them, and he's getting up. That's his round. And then Standish is gone. He grabs a dagger that Tarloff throws to him, and he's anxiously hoping that they're going to unlock the door for him. He can't really do anything else. He could throw. He's waiting for a chance to throw his dagger. All right, the guard is. He's not going to be able to get away with Naomi up on his. He barely withstood her hitting him. She could grapple with him. He's going to go to try to run away. Naomi's going to grapple with him. They get an opportunity because he's right there in melee range. She's going to grapple with him. What were their strengths? Oh, he doesn't really have anything plus or minus. Nope. So we're just going to roll off. Naomi rolls a 3. He rolls a 5. Whoop, that was a 3. 3 versus 5. She barely is able to hold him, and he makes for the door. But that was his round. He's getting to the door. We get another round to try to stop him from opening the door, and another round for him to leave. Yeah. So that's back. No, Tasha. Tasha now has a chance. She's not going to cast Magic Missile again, or no, she'd have to burn another. What did she? She loses a point of stamina because she burned her hand with burning the tarot deck. Okay. So. Tasha is going to come out and retrieve her. Tarloff is giving her a dagger. Her round's going to be rushing out of the cell and getting her dagger. Then that's the top of the round, and we start back with Tarloff. Tarloff, seeing that the elf is trying to escape, has his dagger in hand, and yeah, he almost grabs Whisker. You know what? I think the elves confiscated Whisker. It was pretty obvious that Whisper was a very powerful artifact, so they grabbed that. They didn't leave it in there. But he grabs his dagger and he rushes to stab this guy. I'm continuing my, yes, showing you how to roll like shite. 6. So he goes to try to stab him, and it reflects off his armor. They're wearing this like hardened wood armor. Daggers are, it's impervious to daggers. Naomi wishes she had her trident, which is also, well, let's say it's sitting next to the chest. I guess Tarloff could have threw her her trident. That probably would have been a smarter play. But she's going to attempt to grapple with the elf again. She rolls a dang 5. He rolls a dang 8. 5 to 8. She's got a +1, so she's still. Oh man! So she tries to grab him. She can't keep him. She can't. Her grip doesn't hold. She's hurt too. She doesn't have much hit points. So Standish isn't gonna be able to help. So now it's, oh no, Atticus. Atticus has his little hammer. Has a hammer. He has one of his hand axes. Is he going to just chop this guy, or is he going to try to hold him back? He's going to try to chop this guy in the leg. He's rushing in. Yeah. You know what? No, it would have helped. All right. Atticus is rushing in. There we go. There's a roll. Okay. So he hits this guy. He's not doing it two-handed. He's got a +1. See what kind of damage he does. 6. 6 damage. So he succeeds in chopping this guy in the leg. This guy, he turns to fight. He's not going to cry out for help. He's hurt pretty badly. His leg's hurt. He's still not, he's too proud to cry out for help, but he isn't too proud to turn around and kill something before he dies, or just kill them all. So he turns and strikes at Atticus. He never did get a sword though. So he's not too, I mean, he's doing this with his hands. He's got 10, 12. Atticus has armor class of 13. He turns and swings at Atticus and misses. Atticus dances out of the way. This is not going well for you, Mr. Guard. Okay. Tasha. Not able to get up. There's a lot of people up crowded around this door. So she searches the guard on the ground. He's dead for his keys, and she finds his keys. That's what she does in her round. Now back to the top of the round. Tarloff backs off, and what's he gonna do? Oh, he looks over and he sees that, you know, the Naomi's trident. He goes, Naomi, and he throws the trident to her, and let's see if she catches it. She like catches it, does the flip around. She catches it with flair. So it's her turn. She stabs. Hope she rolls a 20 again. That'd be sweet. Yeah. She does this fancy twirl and goes in to stab, and the elf, because he's turned around now, he moves out of the way and she hits the wall, or she thuds into the door. Stunk. But Atticus dances in and misses with his hand axe. Then Standish is standing put. The elf is going to take this minute to, and we're going to say, because the last two people just swung at him and missed, he's going to dodge over. He's going to pick up a sword. That's pretty much his. He's got his sword, and his back's against the wall. He's going to be fighting like a cornered rat. Tasha opens up Standish's door. She unlocks him. That's what she does. Tarloff, back to the top of the round. Tarloff Atticus and Naomi are up in this, got this guy cornered. Tarloff is going to, he's got a sling, sharp bows. He doesn't make sense to me that he's going to oh, you know what he's going to do? He's going to reach down. The other guard had a what do they got? They've got spears. The other guard had a spear. No, he had a sword, because he was walking in. He was going to just cut off Naomi's head, basically. He grabs his weapon. That's what he does for his round. So now Tarloff has something better than a dagger. He's got a short sword. Okay, then Naomi's going to stab this guy with her trident. Ah, there we go. That's a better roll. 13, and she gets she's got +1 is 14. So she hits this guy. So I think it's over right now, actually. Yeah. Yes. So his dancing does not help as she skewers him with her trident. You'll die in here. He's got a look of disbelief on his face as he dies, because he's been alive for like 125 years, and he didn't think he was ever going to die like that. But he dies. We made it out of the cells. Okay? That's cool. They're going to barricade themselves in for a little bit. No one's been coming. They don't expect anybody to come. They don't know how long they're supposed to be there, but they're going to barricade the room a bit, pushing something up against the door. The door does open inward. So they're going to push something up against the door, and then they're going to rest a bit. They're going to kind of regroup and figure out what they're going to be doing. Meanwhile, and I need to take a quick, oh geez, I need to take a quick break. I will be right back.
I'll be right back.
And we're back. Okay. Yes. Okay. Meanwhile, Jasper and Armstrong watched the elves. Well, at least Jasper did. He watched the elves drag his friends into the mound. He didn't rush forward, because he isn't necessarily a fool, and he didn't want to get captured too, because he thought maybe he could help from outside. Jasper wanted to just leave. He ran into the forest. Not Jasper, Armstrong, because Armstrong was like, screw it, I tried to help, I'm out. And Jasper follows him. The elves didn't put up much of a chase. They sent a couple out to go as far as they could to see, but by that time, Jasper and Armstrong were pretty far gone, heading back to the village. They arrived back at the village and immediately, told people what had happened, how they killed this unicorn. Well, okay, let's back up because Armstrong wants to just take off. He's like, well, I guess this is a terrible thing, but we've got to go, and we should get going now. The Baron won't be upset to know that maybe we go to the Baron and get more. His idea is maybe we'll go to the Baron and get more people and come back and save them. With the idea that maybe he'll skip out because he's chaotic. He's not personally invested in the people of the team. He's more invested in like um, Tasha's grimoire, but now he's thinking that that might be lost. Jasper kind of gets Armstrong. He's neutral, but he kind of gets him, and he tells him, "Look, we got to go back, and we got to help these people. They do it for us," which doesn't move Armstrong that much. But he says, there's a lot of these elves have a lot of magic, and there's something you could be learning in there, um, alluding to the stuff, and that kind of strikes a chord with Armstrong. He's like, okay, all right, well, what's the plan? And Jasper says, we're going to find somebody in this village to help us. We're going to go back. We're going to figure out a plan to get back in there. But it's not going to be tonight, right? And hopefully they'll still be alive tomorrow night. So they get back to the town, and they sleep. And in the morning, they've kind of got to tell the tale to the council of the village of Ing. They tell everybody exactly what happened, and they're able to. They say they want to go back. They think they can finish this off if they could just get inside there to rescue their friends. And two people stand up and say they'll help them. Yes, can. Thank you. One, yeah. One's name is Croy. He is a local healer. He says he can come, he can help them. And the other one is Barrow. And he is an ostler, the local town ostler. I think that's with hawks. Is that the hawk thing? I think. I'm not quite sure what ostler is. I think it has to do with birds. Maybe I'm wrong. Owls? I think they tend to owls. Both of them are lawful. They want to help. They say, we'll sign. We'll help you. So Armstrong and Jasper have got themselves another little group. These are just 0 level characters, Croy and Barrow. But they get them. They were able to manage to scrape up a couple swords, a couple short swords. Not many people in the village are armed. Oh wait, Barrow has a staff, and Crow has a crow. Yeah, Crow. We'll call him Crow. I like Crow better. Crow. Yes. Crow has a club. Okay. So the plan is, they develop a plan. They spend the rest of the day coming up with a plan because they got until dusk to figure this out anyway. So they hatch this plan. What they're going to do, what they think, they realizing what they should have done last time is they should have done this, what they're doing right now. Instead of going in, they were too much hubris. They should have, once they found out that the door to the mound opens at night, they should have scouted the place, then went back, maybe found more people, then devised a plan and came back. Because the plan he's thinking of now is the door opens at the base of the mound. And so Jasper and Armstrong are going to hide above the door on top of the mound. And these villagers are going to cause a distraction to draw the guards out so that they can come down and go in the door. That's it. That's the extent of the plan. So it gets to be late afternoon, and they take Crow and Barrow out to where the mound is. It's a few days walk, a few days. It's a few hours walk out through the forest past Morrow's farm, and they get there and they scout out the mound. They identify where that the door is going to open up, and Crow and Barrow devise a kind of a they work the area to figure out how they can run in, uh, do something. What could they do? Throw rocks seems kind of boring. They both, for some reason, some odd reason, they both Crow and Barrow know Minotaur. I don't know how a villager is going to know Minotaur, and much less two of them together. But let's play off this. So, Crow and Barrow have known each other for a long time. One of them knows Minotaur and taught the other one. They're going to use that. They're going to come running at the door, yelling in Minotaur, hopefully to catch the guards by surprise, and then run back, maybe pelt them with a few rocks, and then run back, or stay there to try to get them to follow them. And all they need to do is the guards to move away from the door, like 10, 15 feet is what Jasper and Armstrong think they can drop down as quiet as possible and go in the door. Farther the better. Jasper and Armstrong are expecting to see 4 elf guards come out. Instead, they see these 2 furbolgs come. Boom, boom, boom. So they immediately look at each other and like, oh shit, stuff's already changing. These 2 furbolgs come out and stand on either side. 6 foot tall, big dudes with mauls. That's the word I kept thinking of earlier. Mauls. Big oaken, shiny mauls that look really dangerous, that crush cleric throats. And they stand on either side. But that's not going to stop them. Jasper does his whistle. All right. It was a owl whistle. No, they make owl hoot. The ostler suggested that. They hoot. Tarloff and, not Tarloff, Jasper hoots. The Crow and Barrow come running in, yelling their Minotaur and yelling in Minotaur and throwing rocks at the furbolgs. We're going to roll to see how well they do. Crow has a killer personality. He's a +3 personality, so we'll let him roll his personality. Let's switch over to Dice Cam. Dice Cam. Dice Cam. 17. If I want to add his personality modifier for +3, that's a 20. Everything goes swimmingly. Crow and Barrow come running out, speaking in Minotaur, which is probably grunts and snarls, and grunts and snarls with a British accent or Scottish accent, sure. And the furbolg, one rock hits him. Well, we won't say it's the rocks because I don't want to roll for a throw, but the rocks, they don't hit them, but they're obviously attacking them. And the furbolgs aren't necessarily smart people, the smart ones, and they start moving out. They're not going to go too far, but they're going far enough for Jasper and Armstrong to slide down. Because they rolled really well, I'm going to give Jasper and Armstrong a slightly lower difficulty number in order to sneak behind these guys. Now here's the thing, man. If these guys notice them, well, they're all healed up. They're gonna draw their weapons, and what is oh, I set them aside. So we are now with Armstrong and Jasper. Armstrong has Magic Shield and Choking Cloud readied up, and a staff. No, he's got the unicorn horn. Armstrong's got his unicorn horn out, and Jasper has his longsword out, and they're moving down as fast as they can to go in there, and they're hoping they're not going to be seen or heard by these guys. I'm going to roll 2 dice for these guys. Wow. So one of them is going rolling down the hill. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. I wish I would have designated which one was the die, which die. That would have been smart. That would have been real smart. But we're going to do the person with the lowest luck. And that's going to be Armstrong, which makes sense. He's a wizard. He's not, he's, his agility is -1. So it makes sense that, and Jasper's agility is 17. So yeah. Armstrong trips and falls and rolls down. We're going to give him a luck check to see if he makes so much sound that the furbolgs hear him. Fair enough, right? His luck isn't that bad. Yeah, see you later, heroic. 5. He rolled under his luck. He manages to stumble and rolls down, but the furbolgs are still mad, angry, intimidated by the screaming people, and they're moving away. So he's able to get up, and they both rush into the door. Yeah. This is where we're going to leave it. I want to have Jasper and Armstrong. Jasper and Armstrong are going to rejoin the party. Yeah, at some point, something's going to happen. They're inside the mound. The other ones are the other part of the party is barricaded in the little dungeon, trying to get themselves. Oh, you know what? We're going to flash back to them, and well, we'll take care of them when we see them next. Okay, I am going to be at a convention next weekend, so this isn't going to happen next weekend. We're going to be taking a short break. I will be back returning the following Friday for a new episode of this particular campaign. Other than that, thank you for joining. If you're watching for the first time, please follow. That would be really awesome. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining.
Viva la dungeon!